Hello and welcome to another edition of Premier League Predictions with myself, Matthew Christ, and Brian McClair. Brian, it's start of the festive season, I think we could say this week. A lot of Christmas fixtures coming up. Is the festive period something you look forward to as a player in your day?
No, there's too many fixtures. I mean, they're complaining about the fixtures they've got now, but we used to play Boxing Day and the day after, and then there's only a couple of New Year as well. So Christmas is unfortunate for me. Just reminds me of training and sometimes traveling to away games. So I'm a bit of a Grinch when it comes to the Christmas. Yeah, so. I
Well,
try, I try, but it's just my default is I'm a Grinch. Yeah, so
that's understandable. Minus the hundreds of thousands of pounds a week, but we'll let you off. So let's get going on the first of this festive episode of Premier League Predictions, and it's a Saturday 12:30 game, and it's Aston Villa against Man City in what could be a mouth-watering clash.
well, 1-0 win for Villa last year gave them 14 home wins in a row. City, well, there's so many things you could say. I mean, I think when you've got a defender trying to backheel the ball to stop it going into the goal, and it goes into the goal, and you end up losing the derby against United, I think you're in trouble. And amazingly, I saw yesterday that in one of the papers that Guardiola's second favourite to get the sack. I think that's probably unlikely. However, they are in pretty much dire position. Having said that, Villa 1, City 2.
Well, you think this is going to be the game they bounce back for the fourth time, do you?
Yeah, they keep bouncing back, don't they? So
You're going with the Everton formula, are you?
Everton formula,
yeah. So let's go on to the 3 o'clock games. Entertaining Brentford against high-flying Nottingham Forest.
Well, Tony made his return from suspension in this fixture last year, and he scored after 13 minutes. He's not there now to perhaps get in the way of high-flying Forest, who are, as I said, doing very well after your ribbon about them. And then they managed to get 3 points again in the last fixture with 2 late goals against Aston Villa.
A game you predicted correctly.
Well, that's what I mean. It's nice to get one right, isn't it? So, Brentford 2, Forest 0, though.
Oh, you're expecting the bubble to burst, are you?
High scoring Brentford. I'm expecting them to win at home.
Okay, and now this one looks interesting. It's Ipswich against Newcastle. Newcastle going from hot to cold.
Again, the form's excellent. Away, very difficult to suggest how the game will go. These teams last night in the Championship in 2017, which is a 3-1 win for Ipswich, and an Englishman, a Welshman, and 2 Irishmen scored the goals. Ipswich 0, Newcastle 2.
Okay, obviously not a Scotsman in the team that day, but let's go down to West Ham versus Brighton.
Last year's fixture was an uneventful 0-0 draw. West Ham won once in the last 14 meetings. And on Monday night, incredibly, if West Ham had held on, it would have been the 10th time out of 11 that they'd won on a Monday evening. So maybe they should be petitioning to play on a Monday more often with their record in the Monday night games. West Ham 1, Brighton 2.
Okay, and the final game on Saturday is the tea time game, and it's a London derby, and it's at Selhurst Park. Crystal Palace against Arsenal, who really do need to get a run going, don't they, Arsenal, if they're going to chase down them?
I mean, Palace had a great win away from home. Incredibly, in this fixture last season, they only named 8 out of possible 9 subs. Say that my problem again on my bogey at Everton or Brighton, City, mystifying result. I think Arsenal in real need of a striker. They're creating a lot of chances, doing a lot of shots, but they don't have anybody that's just a goal scorer really. And I think they'll be looking for someone, if not already identified someone in the transfer window after Christmas.
Okay. Could that player be Marcus Rashford?
But he doesn't score goals, does he? So why would
Well, not for United. Let's talk of him going there. It could be the new challenge he's looking for.
well, yeah, there is a challenge for people. Palace 1, Arsenal 2.
Okay, Arsenal get back to winning ways, and that brings us to half time on this edition of Premier League predictions. We're going to quickly get a quick rub down and a cold drink, and we'll be right back after this break. It's half time here on the panel for our Premier League prediction show. So if you're thinking of following us this weekend with an online bookmaker, be sure to check out our sponsor, Betovo.com. They're available in Ireland, Canada, New Zealand, Austria and Norway for our viewers and regular visitors to Gambling.com, and have a very generous sports welcome pack available. Just click on the link in our bios or on our website to check them out. Home to some great offers like weekly cashback, weekend boosts and more. You'll have plenty to explore at Betovo this football season. Let's get back to our Premier League predictions. Hello and welcome back to Premier League predictions. My name is Matthew Christ. Alongside me is four-time Premier League winner Brian McClair, and we're into the second half of this week's Premier League predictions. And they start with the 2 o'clock games, and we're going to begin with Everton versus title challenging Chelsea at Goodison Park.
Well, Everton youth product Lewis Dobbins scored in this game last December in a 2-0 win for Everton, but strangely he was sold to Villa in June. Is that all to do with trying to maintain within the spending rules that Everton fell foul of previously? If Everton keeping clean sheets as they have so far, I think that 6 or 7 that Jordan picked for the defence, if they continue to do that, they will probably remain in the Premier League. The other thing that's interesting about that, in the last game at Arsenal, Everton had precisely no shots on target. So if they continue to have no shots on target and don't lose any goals, they'll remain in the Premier League. But I think that Chelsea will beat them. Everton 0, Chelsea 2.
You can see Evertonians holding their heads already, the fact that you tipped them twice to stay up. And we know what happens when you tip Everton to do well. Fulham versus Southampton next.
Well, I mean, these two first played each other in 1903, just at the time me and you started watching football. An exciting 2-2 draw in the Southern League. Will Southampton bounce after the dismissal of Russell Martin and his staff? I don't think so in this game. Fulham 2, Southampton 0.
Yeah, the woes to continue for Southampton there then. Leicester City versus Wolves.
The last time at King Power saw a 2-1 win for Leicester, which avoided equalling a club record 5 consecutive home defeats. Leicester lost heavily to Newcastle in the last fixture, and Wolves lost in injury time to their relegation rivals, or bottom 3 rivals, Ipswich. And the head coach goes in the discipline that is completely out the window. It looks as if Wolves are going to appoint the Brazilian Vitor Pereira, who who's been playing his trade in the Saudi Arabia. He's very much known to be a disciplinarian, so maybe he'll be able to sort out the situation with regards to discipline after the game. They seemed to be reasonably disciplined during the game, but after the game, completely lost their heads, So, which will be a problem for them because players will be suspended after the FA have decided what punishment to meet down on individuals or indeed the club. I'm going to go for Leicester winning this fixture. Leicester 2, Wolves 1.
Have you seen enough of Leicester to make a call on how Ruud van Nistelrooy is doing there, or is it too early to tell?
Well, I think that he's managed to get points at Leicester. Managed to get points is what he was appointed for. I think he'll do pretty well there. Albeit that the last fixture against the Newcastle, as I say, particularly strong at home. You want to win your home games, and you clearly want to win home games against teams that are below you in the league, and who are in a bit of turmoil as Wolves are at this present moment. So you would expect a home victory.
Okay. Now, that takes us on to the last of the 2:00 games at Old Trafford. It's Manchester United versus Bournemouth. United on the bounce after a pretty thrilling derby victory, one you didn't call, but one which many people maybe did predict with the form that City are in.
Well,
So how much can you read into
I
that?
went for 2-2 and United did score 2, so I'm going to take some encouragement from that. Last December, Bournemouth won 3-0 at Old Trafford in a game that could have been worse as Bournemouth had an injury time goal ruled out with it by our favourite VAR system. Despite the derby win, I think that the system's still been causing a bit of problem for the players. It's going to take, as I've mentioned before, a while before that is sorted out. What I liked about last game at City was that the coach has decided that he's going to pick the players that he thinks are impressing for various different reasons, and that's why Marcus Rashford and Garnacho were not involved at all in the squad. So maybe it's about time that someone makes big decisions on relatively big non-players. And it worked out well for him because he came away from an away victory for 3 points.
Okay, so what do you see this one ending up?
2-1 to United.
You mentioned the new boss making calls on big players that maybe aren't performing. Do you think that's something that's overdue?
Well,
You
I
think
mean, the thing
previous
is
managers would have done it?
about players. I don't think it necessarily means about that. I mean, it's like players who you top goal scorers for Manchester United. I think that should always be the case, that you get to play based on whatever criteria the coach decides. And I liked what you said about whether it's how you're dressed, your timekeeping, your interaction with other players, and also the perceived performances in the training sessions and also in the games, of course. And I think that's what needs to be understood by all the players. That's what's going to happen, no matter who you are. If you're performing, you'll get to play. If you're not, then you good chance you won't play, and indeed you might not even be involved in the squad that participates in the game. So yeah, I think it's a very positive message for Manchester United.
Okay, interesting. Right, the last game on Sunday this weekend is the 4:30 game, and it's Tottenham versus Liverpool. Tottenham, very difficult to predict. Liverpool still rolling on.
Well, Liverpool had 2 men sent off in this fixture last season. It took a last-minute one goal by Matip that gave Spurs the 3 points. And I was just going to mention that, well, Liverpool's discipline this season has been one of their assets, and then as I just finished doing this bit of research, Andy Robinson gets himself sent off and after 7 or 8 minutes or something. So I think it has been an asset for him because they up to the last game. But they showed great strength in coming back twice and managed a point with playing with for 10 men with such a long period of time. So yeah, that's a good sign for them, I think. Because of course they managed to score 5 first-half goals for the first time in their Premier League history in the game at Southampton. Game that gave some respite for Ange Postecoglou, but despair for Russell Martin. I'm going to go for a Spurs win, 2-1.
Well, I mean, that would be a turn up for the books, I'm guessing, on current form, but certainly make the title race interesting. So you think the Liverpool bubble bursts here, do you?
I'm going to go for Spurs win, yeah.
Say no more. Okay, that brings us to the end of this first of our festive editions of Premier League predictions. Don't forget to let us know your thoughts, whether you agree with Brian, whether you disagree with him, whether you're an Evertonian that's terrified you're now going to be relegated. And we'll be back very shortly with our next episode. See you then.